Now is political analyst Lori Turnbull. Lori, thanks as always for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk quickly. Melanie Joly yesterday confirming she wasn't going to run. Is that a surprise? She said she thought she would have a good chance of winning.
Sure. It's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, I mean, I think she was certainly one of the names that people were really looking at, somebody who would have ran from Quebec. I think that's significant because now there's a lot of pressure to see whether Minister Champagne will put his name forward for this, because I think the party, I mean, obviously this is about choosing a leader. It's about getting somebody in there soon because there's going to be an election really soon. But it's also about growing the party, signing up members, kicking up some noise about the party's, change moment, right? Which they're trying to create here. And they have such an important base in Quebec. And so now with Joly out, I think there's a lot of looking around to see who is going to be this person from Quebec that the party will have running there.
Now, I believe they've had a kind of unofficial plan of alternating Quebec and outside of Quebec as a leader. Will that apply on this one?
I mean, honestly, I don't know about that. I think probably because of the nature of the speed of this thing and the urgency because of the timing of Trudeau's departure. I don't know if those, so I know exactly what you mean in terms of that back and forth, and that's typically what we see. I don't know if that would be a huge concern here. I think it's more even to have somebody running, even if they don't win, have somebody running from Quebec to go out and kind of show Quebec that the Liberals are still their party, kind of thing. Because if the Liberals don't have somebody, like even in that leadership process, to be going out, selling memberships, campaigning, identifying, talking about Quebec and Quebec's place in Confederation, especially now, because we can see support for the Parti Québécois, for example, is going up. There's going to be push for, like, the sovereignty movement is gaining strength again. This, I don't think, is the time for the Liberals not to have a strong contender from Quebec, whether they win or not.
Now, it's likely we'll see Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland come in. Who comes in as the front runner of those? Are those two to be considered the front runners, essentially?
I think so. I think that's certainly fair to say, and neither of them has officially said they're doing it. But the Globe and Mail is reporting this morning that they've each got 30, around 30 MPs at least supporting them, and so you can see, especially as LeBlanc and Joly have dropped out, that the caucus members are now moving around to choose whether they're supporting Freeland or Carney. And I think, yeah, I mean, they are the front runners. I think that has been anticipated for some time. And I think the more hours go by here that other MPs start to align themselves with one of those two candidates, it's going to be harder for other people to jump in and expect to find some support within caucus. So I would suspect in the next few days, people will be finalizing their decisions.
And with Christy Clark, with everything that went on yesterday, will she even still consider running?
That's a good question. I think, honestly, that the noise and the confusion and the apparent contradiction in the story here is far, far worse for her candidacy than if she had just said, yes, I voted, I jumped in, I took a Conservative membership because I wanted to help Jean Charest beat Pierre Poilievre. Whatever, move on. Like, I think that there was a way for her to bulldoze through that and get through it, and either it would have been an issue for people or not. But now that there's the back and forth and the sense that the lack of clarity, and again, like the apparent contradiction, I think undermines her candidacy significantly.
Could there be a surprise, like a dark horse, come up here in this race?
Oh, sure. And I think there's also a question about what's going to be the timeline here, right? There's still so much uncertainty about it. So once you get somebody in place, the election's going to be very shortly after that. How much furniture is going to be saved here? And is that person going to stay in this job for a long time? Or is the person that's going to be chosen on March 9th, are you the rebuild person, or are you the short to medium term person? Because the other thing is that some of the people who are, kind of mulling over a bid might say, I'll wait till the next time. I'll wait to be the person later. I don't want to go in and lose. Like, there's all so many calculations about the next little while.
Okay, Laura, thank you as always for your insight. Much appreciated.
Thank you too. Take care.